winner. Here's a look at one of our outer tables, headlined by Alex Foxen. The Finns are out in full swing. They, of course, the most dominant country in pot limit Omaha as we look at the tournament format. 100K buy-in, 7-handed is the format today. And here's a look at our main feature table. It's a who's who of the big stars. But the biggest of all, Mr. Daniel Negreanu, the Poker Hall of Famer and winner of Super High Roller Bowl 7 for $3.3 million. He takes center stage along with his good friend and rival Josh Aryeh. But of course, we got Nick Schulman in the house as well. $6.6 million in winnings on the Poker Go Tour. This man already a legend, and he builds onto the myth every single time he comes out and plays. Here's a look at our feature table chip counts presented by Vision GTO Trainer. Jesse Lonis, the chip leader, the most volatile player in the game, and very entertaining to watch. Aryeh Schulman, Jonas Kronwitter, Negreanu, and John Reardon are all at this feature table today. So it should be a very good one as you look at the cash and the championship ring that'll await the winner, who will be crowned on Saturday night. He wears a new outfit, brand new. Tags literally have just come off. Walked into the room the other day with a Gucci bag in his hand. This man definitely...
He's a bit of a fashionista. Actually, it seems to be trending that in high-stakes poker, these guys are trying to be a little bit more fashionable, and it seems to be something that's on the up and up.
Everyone used to wear those free hoodies you would get when you showed up to a tournament.
Right.
Nowadays, they go to
Still see some of that, but
to the fancy stores.
But a lot of the guys like to dress it up a bit.
Speaking of limping here, Schulman with the button limp. Aryeh coming with the aggression with a double-suited small pair.
Yeah, and it's a great raise from Aryeh. First of all, the hand is just quite good, actually, but also you have a lot of deception value. You're going to hit some flops that you're not expected to hit when you raise out of the small blind with a hand like this.
Explain to me the button limp. We've seen Reardon do it now as well as Schulman.
No,
is it simply all about position and the type of strength that you have in your hands, particularly dry queens?
Yeah, the main idea of limping in PLO, whether it's from the button or other positions, is that you have a lot of hands that want to see flops, but don't necessarily want to raise and call 3-bets. Also, given the presence of the ante, your price to play hands is quite a bit better, which allows you to play more hands. Because you're playing more hands, you have to now play some weaker hands, and because of that, your overall range of hands is a little bit weaker. So you do balance some strong hands in your limping range as well, but you do want to just limp and be able to see flops. An extreme example would be as if the ante was 3 times the big blind instead of the big blind. Then you'd be very incentivized to limp and see a lot of flops, and then you would also balance that with some stronger hands. And particularly queens and jacks that are maybe medium strength, they do great limping and calling a raise, trying to flop top set.
Wow, monster card for Schulman on the turn. He hits the 9-high straight, and at the same time, Aryeh hits the 7-high straight. This could be trouble.
And you do see Aryeh slowing down here. This is a spot where a no-limit player might think that 4-3 is just a hand that wants to bet 3 streets, but no 8, no 9 in his hand. He does know, obviously, that he's pretty cooked against that hand, so he's going to check and call with this flush draw.
Yeah, so the mate straight and the flush draw, not even enough to go for all that value because he has to give Schulman credit for combos that would already beat him.
Right, and to be honest, I mean, he does have a straight flush draw as well, but to be honest, this is already kind of a not fun spot for Aryeh because when Nick pots the turn, he's really representing the 9-high straight. He's not going to necessarily pot the turn with a lot of ace-7 hands or anything like that. He will have some bluffs, of course, and Aryeh's hand is just too good to fold, having a straight flush draw as well, but it's not a thrilling spot.
All right, so Aryeh's going to come in and make the call for a pot-sized bet. So we have 228 in the middle here, really big one, as the 6 of diamonds pairs the board. Perhaps board pairs could slow the action down a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this goes check-check. Once Aryeh calls a pot-sized bet on the turn, he's going to have a lot of full houses on this river. He's also going to have a lot of stuff like ace-x of hearts that can no longer call the river, most likely. So Nick's hand is probably not worth the value bet. The only question is, does Aryeh ever turn this hand into a bluff? Probably not, because he doesn't have any board pair blockers, but also it is possible.
Josh Aryeh, man. This guy will take any spot. We've seen it over the course of 2 decades.
That's right. And Nick already has just a pure bluff catcher if Aryeh bets any sort of reasonable amount here.
Wow, and Aryeh comes with the lead for 210. Quick peek back at the cards for Schulman.
This is nice from Josh.
Just remember, as played, too, Nick limping the button. Aryeh shoots it up out of the small blind. This looks quite ace-ace heavy.
Yeah,
I think he'd play his hand just like this.
That's a great point, Brent. And that probably was part of his plan, too, when he checked all the turn, was thinking, okay, I can rep aces full if the board does pair. Nick's got to be thinking about what are Josh's natural bluffs here. I guess ace-X of hearts would be the most natural bluff, something like ace-10-9 with ace-high hearts.
And there it is. Schulman tosses the 9-high straight. Josh Aryeh draws first blood here at the table.
You have 100K on you?
Why don't you,
I'm good for
Why
it.
don't you start soliciting our viewers for investments?
GoFundMe
Yeah.
/ Hanks.
My girl's good at it. Gets right into it.
Negreanu raising with Jack 10, 6-5, double suited. Feels a little disconnected, even though it is double suited.
Yeah, it's on the edge. Definitely would be fine from the cutoff and button, probably from the hijack. You know, it's probably even fine under the gun. These ones where they're both properly connected, even though it does look like two separate hold'em hands. Schulman's got him in terrible shape with covering both flush draws and sharing some cards.
It's certainly a hand where...
And look at Josh. Josh also had 2 spades and 2 diamonds. So
Schulman's willing to play for stacks if the money were to go in pre with suited kings in this spot. Is that correct?
Versus Daniel's stack size, yes.
Right.
But
wow. Even though when you think there's no diamonds left, here they are. Ace, 8-5, 2 diamonds. Schulman, nut flush draw. Negreanu, jack high flush draw.
this is just going to go in, I think. They're just too shallow for either of them to get away from this.
Maybe Daniel, though, gives Nick a lot of aces here, where is it great to get it in against what could be top set with a jack high flush draw? Your 5 could be worthless.
I wouldn't say it's great. No, and it's possible Daniel just calls here in position, but
The price is fine now, 20K. We can almost take one off.
For
right?
instance, if Nick had potted it, I would have expected Daniel to just stick it in and hope that he's up against one of those ace-king-king or something like that.
All right, so Negreanu is going to make the call. 83,000 left behind. That could all end up in the middle.
This is a very interesting card. Negreanu picks up some additional equity, and Nick cannot like this card that much, even though he also picks up a gutter.
So what's Nick mostly worried about here that Negreanu plays this way, even pre-flop?
Well, certainly the 7-6 combos are in there. I think given the pot size and the stack sizes, Nick's just going to stick it in and hope Daniel folds some type of ace-X hand.
And here we go. Schulman pulls the trigger, puts Negreanu at risk. Let's see what Daniel is going to do here.
Should be 116 if it was 76 plus 40.
Yeah, Daniel's just getting a good enough price to get it in here.
Okay.
So
116.
Negreanu does have outs. Still almost 60-40, which is kind of crazy. When you think about
even
it.
with his diamonds covered, he's still got pretty good equity.
So what's Negreanu thinking Schulman is going to turn over here?
Well, he's expecting to see a set of aces a lot,
116, you said.
given the way Nick played it. Nick's not going to do this with every combo of kings, certainly. He's got 2 diamonds himself, so he's expecting to see a set of aces more than he is something like kings plus
Do you
diamonds.
have diamonds too, or no?
Diamonds?
Do you have diamonds too? Just tell me, it's fine.
Yeah, Daniel's only really worried about set plus diamonds having him in terrible
so
shape.
116. 80.
The price is just too good here. It's too likely his diamonds are live. In this case, they're not, but his 2 pair outs are all live.
Yeah, Daniel's just hoping, if it's not top set, well, could it be a hand like ace, king, queen, jack, or 10 that contains the king, queen of diamonds, right? That's the hand he's worried about, being out flushed, if you will, if the money goes in.
Yeah, there's just so many more combos of top set than there are of those types of hands,
Right.
though. He just... And he will call. He's just convincing himself.
If you're in Daniel's shoes, as played, of course, you're doing exactly what Daniel has done thus far, and you're putting the money in?
Yeah, I think the open was maybe the only borderline decision point. But like Jack 10, 7, 6 double would be a clear open, so 6-5 is not too far off.
Wow. Let's it
Oh,
go.
I'm shocked, to be honest with you.
I never use these things. Seem like a good spot.
Negreanu saves his tournament life, but also folds nearly 40% equity.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised, especially where there's a rebuy available to him. Nick's gotten that info.
Should have thought about it. I could feel Daniel breathing down my neck for wasting this time. The board paired, and what can I do?
Obviously.
Got a fool.
I call. Let's take a flop. See where I got 40. It depends. It's up to you. However you want to play it.
John is not going to let Daniel
luck.
see a cheap flop here.
Negreanu trying to talk Reardon into not applying the pressure here.
I think he does want to get it in.
Okay.
You have it up, or just word came down?
I just looked at
I got you.
that. I went back to see it. I was no. When you bet small on the flop, I actually thought you had diamonds.
That's why I bet small. I have 4 diamonds.
But yes, good ones. The best ones you had.
You see Harala fold a hand he
What'd you
might
do,
normally
20
call.
feet?
He's worried that
you,
Negreanu
Oh,
can
him.
squeeze him
He
out
20
in this
now.
spot.
Learn from Nick.
QP?
Well,
We got the
you know
same
what?
man.
I want to see what comes. We'll go from there.
All right, so
26,
Negreanu,
plenty more where that came from.
26,000
Don't tell him
left
where you got
behind.
it. Hey, Paul, I might need chips, you know.
Negreanu ready
300.
to
well, wait a minute.
rebuy.
Hold. How can I can't lose. Impossible. Here,
That's bad news for me.
26,000. Good game. GG. You have 12% equity. Okay. 12%? Put it up on the screen.
Probably, yeah.
That's no good. You have about 12%? Put it on the camera. 12%.
28.
Whatever. 12, 28. He's dead.
It's actually 41.
Bottom line is
I
I
have
have
no idea.
I get it in good as I
I would have
do.
tens.
Huh?
I would have tens.
Pocket tens?
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Okay.
Dangerous call, you put.
6, 7, 8, 9, Jack, Ace, and backdoor hearts. It's a few.
All the cards are across the whole top of the
the whole,
screen.
the whole table.
18 outs.
Yeah, the screen is filled with outs. 18 outs
6
for
just
Negreanu
finishes
to
the
stay
game.
alive in this
Make
event.
that easy.
Very meaningful pot
6, you
still.
win the game. You win the game for 6. Come.
He's right. A 6 is the only one that ends it
King of
officially.
hearts? What'd that do?
King of Hearts.
You got a
return.
hard
Lost the
I know that. Now I got the heart draw, but I don't. Now I only have the
Now you got really
Ace,
lost
7,
control.
6, Jack, heart,
You
7.
got the full screen.
Different one. Oh, the 9's no good now. Huh?
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it looks like I'm
Any
dead.
more out.
Oh, the Ace is not an out either. What the hell? That wasn't a
Still
good
18 outs, Daniel.
card. Maybe it was. I
Just traded a few outs here, but Negreanu's still looking for one of 18 cards to stay alive. And the 3 of
don't know.
clubs.
Fish, you put your money with that shit.
Is
When
not
I go
gonna
all
do
in,
it.
Are you crazy? Okay, you win. Give me chips, Paul.
Negreanu ready to re-enter
What a shitty day of cards so far.
after busting
Okay,
his
I'm gonna
first
bust
bullet.
you all on the second bullet.
Please give him the same seat.
Yeah.
The players at the table would love to get this
That was a big fade.
good hand.
Slightly
I wouldn't stop
steaming.
talking all day.
back over to our outer table, the Negreanu table. And Steely here all in with ace, queen, 8-5 on jack, deuce, 5. Both Negreanu and Tallarine in the mix here.
Right? Pure queens. Really ugly ones. But yeah.
Queens are good.
Yeah.
Queens are something good to have.
And a jack for dessert.
All right, Negreanu well out in front here with queens to send Steely to the rail.
Well, he's got some live cards. Backdoor hearts working.
Yeah, you could go backdoor wheel or Broadway as well.
Might see Negreanu explode if he loses this one,
An ace would be great for you.
given how the day has been for him.
And he would heart too?
I gotta cover your queen.
I mean, ace of hearts is a little.
You already have the queen.
You have the queen.
Oh,
He's big.
never mind.
That's
I got the queen of hearts
any
now.
ace, okay? That'll do.
Or a heart, just for fun.
Yeah.
That's more fair.
The heart's a fair card.
3 hearts for you.
Turn card is the 8 of
What do you got,
spades.
fair? Yeah. That's an even more fair. Now you have the best hit.
Steely now
Well, there's
takes
not
the
any
lead
left.
with 8s and 5s.
Jack,
Negreanu
deuce,
now
that's it.
looking for a 7, queen, jack, or deuce, and look at how many cards are already out.
Yeah, that's it.
Just 4 clean outs here for Negreanu to send Steely to the rail. River card
There it is.
is the jack of clubs, and he does find it.
Good luck.
Negreanu makes trips back up over the starting stack, and Chase Steely eliminated. It is fun to see how different certain arenas play. This, of course, the best of the best clashing. You have to really have a strong stomach to sit down against these boys. And then you have someone like Helmut who thrives off of reading his opponents, which
Yeah,
works a lot better in different fields.
I think Helmuth just really loves the allure of the WSOP, and he prioritizes that perhaps over other events throughout the year.
Start at 3.
It's been rather quiet around Helmuth, Brett. Are you in touch with him? How's he doing?
actually am in touch with him. I spoke to him this week twice.
Wow.
He's at home, enjoying a little downtime, and then I know he's taking the private jet to Chicago, where he's emceeing an event. I'm not making any of this up, by the way.
Oh.
Then he's taking the private jet to Houston, Texas,
Okay.
where we will be. That will be the home of the PGT PLO Texas Roundup.
Meanwhile, 4 of a kind here for Bleznick, and he just fires it off. Some players would check back here thinking, well, I've got such a – and he's also got a 10. This is actually a bit of a surprising bet from Jared Bleznick. When you have 2 jacks and a 10, it starts to become very difficult to get called by a lot of worse hands, especially across multiple streets. You might use this as a slow play.
Oh, no way.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
How does this card come in?
Disaster for Sapila here.
Ace on the turn for Sipila. Bleznick flopping quads. And now we have nuts versus second nuts.
Yeah, now it's just a matter of how the money goes in, not if the money goes in.
This hand felt so inconspicuous, and now there's a bloodbath brewing.
And if you're Jared Bleznick, this is the absolute card you wanted to see. You're hoping that your man has aces. He might also have some king-queen combos that make a straight.
Sipila raised to 21,000 before the flop. Bleznick came with the call.
If I'm Sipila, I'm just going to call here. Reason being, Bleznick's a very aggressive player who can have perhaps more bluffs than a lot of other players. I'm going to let him bluff those hands, and I'm also going to let him continue to value bet his own full houses. Having said that, if Sipila thinks that Bleznick is extremely value heavy here, he may just elect to raise and target those full houses. But he does go, oh, he is going with small raise, yeah.
So 85,000 is the raise from Sipila.
Now Bleznick absolutely should just call here, as he would do with the weakest hands he wanted to continue. He's got position, all the money can still go in on the river.
Let's not forget, an ace on the river would complete the mayhem here. Still 2% chance for Sipila to win this one. And there comes Bleznick with the call. So we're going to see the river card. 5 of hearts on the river. Sipila must feel great, as the only hand that can beat him is 4 jacks.
And a hand that he may be slightly discounting given Jared bet the flop. But I mean, either way, whether he's discounting it or not, this is just a stone cooler. Sipila's always going to shove here. And hopefully Jared doesn't slow roll him, although it would be entertaining.
All in.
He does move all in. And Bleznick comes with the snap call. Sipila accepts the defeat graciously, taps the table, and walks off set. Nuts versus second nuts. What a gross way to go out for the accomplished Finn. Winner of the PGT PLO series earlier this year. And reigning champ Jared Bleznick rakes in the chips. Back on over to our outer table.
Oh my.
And Wiseman is the next player to be all in.
My fellow physician at risk here.
Ace Queen 5-5, 75K invested here. Recapping this action, Tollery made a 24K, Osmus 84. So Wiseman just called all in, and now Tollery with the call as well. So we have action on the side here. 7-7 deuce rolls out on the flop. No 7 for either player. Tollerine's 8's still best here. Wiseman, of course, a very, very eager onlooker here. He prefers to get this thing heads up, but at the end of the day, he knows that his pair of 5s will surely not be enough to win this.
There is a very small side pot. I can't imagine anyone gets carried away in this pot.
Ace of diamonds on the turn. Wiseman
Vaulting into the lead.
Yeah, hits
that's
the ace
huge.
with the best kicker.
And you can see he kind of perked up a little bit there. He's raising his eyebrows. Very interested to see if there's any side betting here. If he sees check-check, he's starting to feel really good about his hand.
If he can hold, what a huge
No.
triple up for Weissman.
Weissman's just thinking to himself, no diamond.
It's the 8 of spades on the river, and Tollerine hits a full house.
Wow.
Dylan Wiseman will be eliminated.
And kind of a sad way for Dylan to lose this hand. Tollerine only with the 2 outs to beat him there.
Yeah, Wiseman might still think that he could be good here, but when Tollerine bets, he might grow suspicious of the strength of his opponent's holding.
Yeah, let's see what size Tollerine comes with. A big bet is going to scare Dylan. Oh, Tollerine checks. This is a little bit unusual.
He goes check, check, and Wiseman emphatically announces ace-queen and then goes, oh no, when Tollerine tables a pair of 8s. That's frustrating for Wiseman, who thought that the check, check might indicate that his ace-queen could be good. Very frustrated. Don't see emotion hardly ever from Dylan Wiseman. As we go on over to table B, Osmus and Tollerine head-to-head, King 10-7.
Wow, look at these hands. A massive draw for Tollerine and top set for Osmus.
So Tollerine made it 25K. Osmus called, and now Osmus bets 35K, and Tollerine raised to 105. All in announced, call announced, and very quickly we have another absolutely massive hand on our hands here.
And look at this. Top set for Osmus is behind the massive draw of Tollerine. Again, PLO is weird like that. And Osmus just praying for a board pair. He doesn't want to have to sweat 2 different cards here.
Wow. Look at the outs at the top of your screen. We're almost out of real estate here. 778 in the middle.
Yeah, full wrap and flush draw, not to mention backdoor flush draw for Tollerine. Osmus just saying 10, end it.
It's hard to even name a card that helps.
Even the 10 of spades.
Well, I was going to say, if it's a 10 of spades.
10 of spades doesn't end it. 7 doesn't even end it. The only thing that ends it is the non-spade 10 or the king.
That is very narrow, as the entire field now is showing up. Bleznick is in the house. Alex Foxen is lingering. Big turn card incoming. It's the deuce of hearts on
another
the turn.
flush draw for Tollerine. And Tollerine just went from 58% to 60% without improving.
I mean, Brent, this is the maximum
I've
outs
never
we
seen
can display.
anything like this.
This is PLO at its finest.
24 outs for Ben Tollerine. Is this a case of too many outs?
I don't think so. I think this is just where you bury the biscuits.
River card. The 6
Wow,
of
he
clubs
holds
on the
on.
river. And the entire room is watching as Jeremy Osmus pulls off the upset.
That's a big brick.
Even though he had a set. Imagine pulling off the upset when you have top set.
Yeah, that's a wild one. That's a good TV hand there.
I didn't even know you could have 24 outs. That is insane.